Right.
And we're live. All right, great.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the webinar for today. We're going to be discussing topics on commerce and economics. We have with us today speakers from the University of Ottawa and the University of Queen's University, Kingston, Canada. We have from University of Ottawa, Dr. Victoria Barham. She's the Dean in the Faculty of Social Sciences and a faculty member for the Department of Economics at the University of Ottawa, where she's taught since 1993. Wow. Ma'am, you've also earned your MA at the University of Toronto and received your doctorate from CORE at the Université Catholique de Louvain, and you were a visiting professor at Queen's University as well. Oh, great. Her research interests include the theory of club goods, the economics of philanthropy, the economics of family, physician payment, health inequality, etc. You're also interested in the economics of federalism and more particularly in financial arrangements between national and Aboriginal governments. Okay. Your research has been published in journals such as the European Economic Review, Journal of Public Economics, Journal of Legal Studies, and Canadian Public Policy. And you've also contributed to the world of work of the Royal Commission of Aboriginal People. So that's Dr. Victoria Barham for you, the students. We have from Queen's University, Mr. Keith McWriter. Am I speaking this correct, sir?
Close enough. You're doing really good.
You're a career coach whose passion is to connect to people and to services, knowledge, and each other in order to help them achieve their goals. With a focus on innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship. Keith supports students who are interested in pursuing career journeys and pivots into these industries and functional roles as well. Okay. So you're a highly energetic leader, I know that, and collaborative team member who thrives in environments of development and change. You also have over 25 years of business development and customer relationship management experience, spanning from both private as well as public sectors, encompassing a diverse range of industries. Also, we have with us Ms. Shilpa Singh. Most of you must have seen her before. Ma'am, you've been with the education sector since the past 25 years. You've also been with the HR. You've played a very important role as a human resources development. We will begin shortly with the webinar. Ma'am, can you take us over?
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm seeing a lot of people online. For those of you who may be able to hear me, or otherwise the Mindler team is online to be able to answer your questions. So you should be able to post your questions during the webinar as well. We have a really exciting panel today, and I think everyone's going to benefit immensely with what they're going to cover. So we are talking about commerce and economics and management, and I started thinking about how do we try and explain this in the most interesting manner possible. And the more I read, the more I've been doing the research, the more I realized that actually studying economics or studying management in any way pretty much ends up becoming a study of risk and how to manage it in any sphere, in any spectrum. So whether you're talking about financial management, whether you're talking about dealing with people, whether it's talking about marketing, or it's talking about where to sell, what to sell, how to set up a business, which industry, which sector, everything is about managing risk. And we usually associate the word risk with a very negative aspect of where it's this horrible thing that's going to happen. But actually, if you were to look at it, you look at a wider definition of the word risk, it would come across as to be able to dare, to enterprise, to be able to explore, to be able to build financial wealth. But risk in management and in business is an inherent part of it. And so therefore embracing risk ends up becoming a very strong part of the journey that comes with management. Now, when we look at management and economics, and you look at commerce, so the larger umbrellas within which there are many subsets, there will be, of course, those of you who would want to be able to look at pure economics, and there are some amazing areas of work that you can do. But I'm going to let Vicky talk about those and not get into the details of that as much. But you do need to understand that in order for you to do those, it's a good idea to be able to have strong mathematical skills definitely in place now. So for those of you who are in class 10 or class 11 and 12, you need to be able to ensure you're building that skill set. If you're looking at management, again, Keith's going to be stepping in and speaking about that in greater detail. But from any functional area that you're going to look at, an understanding of people, an understanding of industries, and to be able to do, a multidisciplinary process when you come to looking at different industries and management is also going to be important. So, management as a function, as a sector, is one that actually allows you to work in any industry at all. Once you're a management grad, you could be very sector specific, and you could build expertise in one particular area. Like you could choose oil and gas, so you could choose to work with in fast moving consumer goods, and you could go ahead and do that. Or you could choose to be an expert in a particular area of work, like human resources or marketing or finance, and you can then choose to go ahead and work in any industry. And that's the joy of management, is we're kind of the people who can get planted into any industry, and our skill set is usable there, and so that's a good thing. There are, of course, if you're looking at India as a requirement for you to be able to study, there are colleges available to you, because I am seeing people who saying that I don't have maths, what do I do? Can I do management without mathematics? So in India, there will be some colleges that will allow you to do management without mathematics, and there will be entrance exam based. Economics, however, without mathematics in India will not function also, because for 3 years, because our degrees are 3 years long, you will for 3 years you're going to get slapped with maths. So you're going to be fairly miserable if you've not had any comfort with numbers or mathematics there. So that's what's going to happen for you there. I am not a huge numbers person at all. I did a management degree. I did have a quantitative methods class. It was the only class I will never ever disclose my grade for, because it was miserable, but I passed. So if I can do it, everybody else can do it too. It was quite painful. Stats wasn't so bad. It was the quant bit that I don't understand calculus. But I never have. But the good thing is, in the area of work that I got into, I didn't need to use calculus, so we're good. I did need to use statistics though, so that was important. I think I'm going to hand off to you to talk about some of the admissions, and then the requirements that we have for India, so that the students here are comfortable, and some of the areas that we want to be able to cover. And then of course we can
We'll
give
have
the
the
floor
question
to our
answers
panel.
later on.
Yeah, and we can give the floor to our panel to be able to speak. So I'm going to mute myself now, and I will also switch off my camera and all that. And it's disappeared on me. Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much, Shilpa ma'am. So basically what we're going to discuss is what are the various options which are available to us when we're talking about careers with commerce and economics. As ma'am said, yes, economics on one hand, you will need to have a basic understanding of mathematics, and in most colleges, if I'm not wrong, both India and abroad, economics honors asks for you to have mathematics in your high school. So before we get on to economics, I would like to take you through the different career options which are available when we talk about commerce, right? So commerce, a lot of people think that commerce is only limited to banking, probably, and if not banking, then I can get into marketing. Other than that, in India, you'll see that people who take commerce, most of them end up thinking that, okay, chartered accountancy is something that I'm looking at. So some of the most prevalent options you'll find is CA, that's a chartered accountant, or a BBA degree, that's a Bachelor's of Business Administration degree. So that's management, right? So this we're aware of. Yes, banking we can get into with a Bachelor's of Commerce. Chartered accountancy we can get into with the CA certification program. Management covers marketing, human resources, operations, for that matter, even finance comes under the ambit of management. Entrepreneurship, right? A lot of us, I've had so many students talk to me about that said, I want to get into entrepreneurship. I want to become an entrepreneur. And then we ask them, okay, fine, that's great, but what entrepreneur? What do you want to start? Like, you understand, right? That entrepreneurship basically means what? It means that you're a problem solver. You see a problem in society, you come up with a solution, and you bring it out to the society so that the entire society benefits from your solution. That's entrepreneurship, right? So what problem have you targeted? If you're telling me that, sir, I want to become an entrepreneur, I'm assuming that you've targeted a problem for which a solution you already have in mind. If not, then that's the line of thought that you need to take for entrepreneurship. Big data analytics. I think back when I came out of school about 12 years back, big data, data sciences, these were just concepts we used to hear from people that this will be the next thing. It may come in, we don't know what it is. But in today's day, I mean, everything is related, whether it's machine learning, whether it's artificial intelligence, anything. It is all using big data and the sources from which data is flowing. I mean, data sciences, data analytics, people think that, it is something to do with computers. So maybe I need to be a science student to do that. But no, big data analytics, big data, data sciences, all of that is open so long as you have a general understanding or of numbers. You're comfortable with numbers, playing around with them. uh, Moving on, we have something called company secretary. That's basically like a class monitor in a school classroom. Like, they take care of everything that's going on in an organization. They're mostly dealing with the corporate laws that are coming out of the organization, and how to deal with problems that are the problems which the organization faces, in terms of legal problems, in terms of let's say financial issues, how to take care of them. Marketing and advertisement, something I would say that advertisement, branding, marketing, these combine areas, like creative aspects of your personality, along with analytics, along with a good analytical mind, so that you know what the people want and you give it to them. A lot of people also come down and say, sir, what's the difference between marketing and sales, right? I'm not sure if we have a sales tile over here, but then there's a huge difference between marketing and sales as well. uh, if I'm not wrong, sales is basically the end game. Like how you have the final thing that you do after pitching your product is sales, when you get the money in. Marketing is about making your customer want your product. Selling is the last thing. You need to make your customer want to take up your product. That's marketing, that's advertisement. So advertisement, branding, all of it in a general umbrella, I would say, are subsets of marketing, right? They fall under the bigger umbrella. I'm sure Keith will love to elaborate a little bit once I'm done with this. Moving on, I think we again, digital marketing is again a subset of marketing. It only deals with promotions and branding and advertisements on the social media, on so many various platforms of social media that we have going on today. Instagram and Snapchat are not the only two things. There is Reddit, there is Quora, there is Pinterest, and I don't know, like innumerable number of platforms where people are sharing ideas and coming up with new ideas. So don't be fooled when people say that Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat are all that social media encompasses of. For that matter, technically speaking, even WhatsApp is like social media. But today, I think WhatsApp has been ingrained so much into our communication system that it feels like it's an SMS. It's synonymous to SMSing each other. When we talk about supply chain management and distribution and logistics, they both basically come under the ambit of logistics. So anything like I think the best case scenario for my students here to understand what distribution and logistics or supply chain management looks like is if any one of you has ever gone to an airport. All right, so in an airport, especially an airport in a metropolitan city like Delhi or Mumbai, you'll see that the number of flights coming in. So how do you manage the number of flights coming in, taking off, going on to going onto their trails and loading people, unloading people, loading the luggage, which luggage goes to which belt, and it's such an intricate process, and yet somehow they make it feel like it's so simple. You just go, check in your luggage, get into the plane, get off the plane, get your luggage, and get back. But imagine what is going on with the lakhs of bags and the lakhs of people in just that small area, traveling from one place to another. Everything that I think, if simply put, how can you best utilize your resources in the most efficient manner, so that you use your resources efficiently, and the money involved in a very good proportion is what supply chain management should all be about, right? There are certain careers when we talk about commerce also, which are math specific. Like I said, one of them being economics. I'm sure Dr. Victoria will also like to elaborate a little bit on that. So, ma'am, I'm not going to touch on your topic. I'm just going to brush through that just for our students to get a basic idea of what that means, and then you can take over from me. We also have data analytics. Like I said, it's again a very integral part of almost every industry today. It doesn't matter whether you're a humanities student, even a political studies student would, if they have a basic idea about data analytics, they would have the power to utilize that resource to come up with different solutions for their problems. For that matter, like what kind of speech do you need to give to a particular set of audiences? A North Indian person would like to hear something else, a South Indian person would like to hear something else. How do you process which area would like to hear what words? All of that is data analytics. So don't be fooled, like I said, that data analytics is a science field. No, it's not. It can be humanities, commerce, sciences, anything that you want to apply it to. And finally, there's something called actuarial sciences. Actuarial sciences somehow is not very as popular as chartered accountancy, although actuarial sciences is, again, I would say, like Shilpa ma'am said, it has to do with risk assessment. And don't get it wrong, like risk is a bad thing, all right? A risk analyst would tell you where to invest your money, how much money to invest in which resource, in which in which portfolio, so that you get the best possible returns. Anybody who's designing policies, who's coming up with the various premiums and age groups with who pays how much premium for a particular policy, all of those designing, for that matter, again, when I talk about IPLs, the Indian Premier League for cricket, I'm not sure how popular that will be in Canada, but in India, it's a huge thing. So, not that much? Okay. All right. So, yeah, but even in cricket, you know that, people are, the players are auctioned before the tournament starts. So, which player is starts at what price? How do you come up with that number? All you have, the data that you have is number of matches, number of wickets taken, number of runs made, the run rate, and so on. And then you convert that number into money. Who does that? So even that process comes under the ambit of actuarial sciences. So the only requirement that I would say that you would need for a career in actuarial sciences is to love mathematics. It doesn't matter if you had humanities with mathematics or science or commerce with maths. So long as maths is your religion, actuarial sciences is one of the most lucrative careers there is when we talk about commerce or policy making or risk assessment for that. Okay, so coming on to economics finally, I would like to make that connect from commerce to economics. When we talk about economics, again, I'm trying to just hold myself back so as not to give everything away. But when we talk about economics, it's not just a consultant. It's not just economist in the terms that you work with money. Economics, I think economics is the only subject which has been able to merge social studies with commerce, with the real-time applications of money, of everything, of the monetary resources in the world, to the real-time applications in a society. How is everything impacted? So there's international economics, which you can the various topics which you get to study in economics are microeconomics, macroeconomics, statistics, financial market, environmental studies, econometrics. Now, econometrics it sounds like such a huge word, right? But what is it? It's basically your day-to-day interaction with the world. Now, if I go out to a market and I see apples and mangoes, all right, and I decide, okay, instead of mangoes, I'm going to buy apples. So the amount which I would have paid for, let's say, a kilogram of apples, mangoes, I can buy like 2 kgs of apples in that. So how does all of this? I'm not going to associate any terms to this thing because that gets too technical. But all of this you're doing in everyday life. Okay, I've gone to the market. I want to buy this or that. I'll make a decision to buy this. That's economics. So you're doing that in everyday life. It's just that we don't understand it. So we feel that, okay, no, it is probably I need maths to study economics, or probably I'm not good at economics because I wasn't good at social studies, because till 10th economics was introduced as a tiny chapter in social studies. But that's what we need to think beyond. That's what we need to move on from. These are specific to a certain Indian options. What are the different courses that you can pursue? So economics honors you can do as a BA in economics honors, that's a bachelor's of arts, or a BSc in economics honors. You can also choose to do a regular BA program in economics or a BSc program in economics and research. There is another thing that we are seeing in today's time, that's a bachelor's of business economics, that's a BBE, something similar, which they're trying to combine the business aspects of the industrial age today with a trend towards economics. So how can you be a research analyst and a business development associate at the same time? Economics can also be taken as part of triple majors, like I said, like a majors program where you're allowed to take up multiple subjects as your majors. In a BA honors economics and an eco honors, you'll be studying in-depth research about economics per se. But in a double or triple majors, you can take up economics along with three other subjects. Let's say maths, for example, or statistics, for example. Things that complement each other. Subject combinations, yes. I think actuarial sciences goes without saying that it goes hand in hand with economics. Most students out there who are doing an eco honors in India, you would find them either getting into the financial segment or into actuarial sciences. So because actuarial sciences in itself is not a degree course, so BA economics or eco honors helps amalgamate the two courses together. You can, like I said, you can get into finance, you can get into statistics, mathematics, law. Yes, definitely a lot of economists out there, or for that matter, a lot of people who are doing eco honors choose to do an LLB right after that, or choose to do an LLB after 2-3 years of working in the market, right? Because they understand the need of, okay, I have my core strength is economics. I understand how the economy works. Now I can use that to leverage it in the court, right? So if I have another skill set, I can probably combine it with law. Psychology and economics, again, behavioral economics. If any one of you have read this book called Freakonomics, it's all about how economics integrates itself with day-to-day behavior of the consumer. International relations and economics, definitely, if you're thinking of getting into international relations or politics, economics will help you have an upper hand over people who don't understand how the GDPs and economies of the world works. Politics, again, self-explanatory, like I just said, politics and philosophy go again hand in hand with economics. Public policy also, economics works out very well with that. We have, is it just my camera? Because I think it's covering, it's basically opportunities out there with economics. So we can get, I'm not able to push this aside, the camera. Okay, no matter. So basically,
Hold
the
on, I'll
opportunity.
try and move it for you.
Yeah.
There you go. You moved.
So, I'm not able to
Oh,
do
what are
that.
you doing?
I'm not doing
Okay,
anything.
nice. Super. We're dancing for no reason.
Great.
Nice.
Great. So professional opportunities, right? So you can become a data analyst. You can work as a policy analyst, as a policy maker with certain think tanks, with research firms. You can get into investment banking. You can get into hedge fund management. That's financial planning. You can get, just like you have the UPSC exams for IAS, right? For Indian Administrative Services, you also have an IES, that's the Indian Economic Services, that you can get if you want to get into the government sector. You can join banking firms. You can write bank PO examinations to get jobs with the banking sector. Your financial consultancy, insurance firms, they all use insurance firms. You can get into with economics or actuarial sciences or a combination of both. So the multiple options for you in the professional segment as well. Don't think that if I've taken economics, then the next step is I do an MA in economics, then I do a PhD, and then I end up as a teacher. I mean, that's a great option too if you're able to impart the knowledge you've gathered to other people. But that's not the only option, right? So don't be fooled by people telling you that there's no scope out there if you take up economics. That's it from my side. I'm going to hand over now. I'm going to jump into it. Shilpa ma'am, you can come back on. We'll have a discussion. Ma'am, I think I would throw open the floor to Dr. Barbara. Ma'am, you can take up if you want to, add to what we've talked about economics.
Yes, I would love to. My presentation seems to have disappeared from
One
the slide
second.
section.
I'll get it back up. Give me a
So I'm going to
minute.
switch my camera back off because I don't want to hog space. I'll have my mic on, so in case I have a question in the middle, you'll hear my voice booming through. So Vicky, the floor is yours in 3, 2, 1 as soon as the presentation runs. Oh.
Or if you
Yeah, just give me a minute. I'll have it up.
Yeah. So why don't you start just kind of sharing a few of your thoughts while we're in that process?
While we wait for my presentation to reappear, thank you so much for attending this seminar. I'm really excited to be able to talk to you all today. As it was mentioned, I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Social Science at the University of Ottawa in Canada. And I'm also an economist and have been so for quite some time, since the 90s. And it's a really exciting career path. And I want to talk to you, if we get the files back, I'd like to talk to you just briefly about the University of Ottawa before talking about economics in particular. The University of Ottawa is a very large university. We have over 42,000 students. And we are one of the top research-intensive universities in Canada and very well ranked around the world, with a large number of faculties and a large number, 17% of our students are international students from over 155 countries. Just before I go, would it be easier if I just switch to sharing my screen? So where I have my... I think maybe that might work better. It will be a moment of, hang on.
I think you're muted, I think.
Okay, I think I'm going to just switch to sharing my screen.
Super, super.
Okay. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me just share my screen with you. And so, as I said, here we are at the University of Ottawa. We're the world's largest bilingual English-French university. So it's a campus on which you hear many languages spoken, but particularly English and French. And we have a campus facility that is very much state-of-the-art, with all sorts of extraordinary labs and other sorts of teaching and learning facilities. So the campus is located right in the heart of Ottawa. Ottawa is a city of about 1 million people, and we're located next to the Rideau Canal, which is a UNESCO heritage site. And that large tower with green windows is the Faculty of Social Sciences, where the Department of Economics is located. The building, if you can see my arrow, this building over here is our School of Business. Sorry, no, this one is. Anyway, let me keep going. So we have, as I say, we're a large university and we have all of the major programs. So we have many faculty, direct entry faculties: science, arts, management, health sciences, social sciences, and engineering. But our Faculty of Social Sciences, where our program in economics is located, is ranked #1 in Canada in peace, justice, and strong institutions, and is in the most beautiful building on campus. We're very, very, very proud of it. So why would you choose economics? One of the things I want to say to you before I say anything else is that when you're choosing a career path, don't focus only on your first job. All university graduates find employment, at least in Canada, and in fact, we have a 97% 6-month placement rate. A lot of parents and a lot of students look at starting salaries in different disciplines. And this is, I believe, a great mistake, because when you're choosing a career path, you're looking at your entire working career, not merely at what you're going to earn in the 6 or 12, 24 months after graduating from university. In pretty much every country, science graduates and engineering graduate will start at a slightly higher pay rate than, say, economists, but they max out more quickly. So if you look at their earnings 10, 15, 20 years out, you'll see that graduates in economics have typically started to earn more than these other graduates in these other disciplines. And in fact, economics is one of the top 10 paying careers in Canada or the USA. Equally importantly, and I cannot stress this enough to you, you need to be thinking about the fact that some career paths are future-proofed and others aren't. So some disciplines, such as accounting, 99% of jobs in accounting are supposed to disappear over the next 20 years. If you're thinking about the fact that you're going to be working for 40 years, you probably want to avoid career paths that are not future-proofed. But the robots are not coming for economists. So why would you want to choose a career in economics? Well, one of the reasons might be that you want to make a difference in the world. Economists are often the architects of most of the key public policy measures that affect the lives of you and your family, and in fact, every citizen in India and elsewhere in the world. Monetary policy, central banks, they're crawling with economists. They tend to only hire economists. Tax policy, every time you make a tax payment, that tax policy was designed by an economist. We're worried about climate change. Economists are key along with scientists, to designing policies to fight climate change. Our social programs, our anti-poverty programs, our health programs, education policy. Economists are key to the design of all of these policies. And so, you go from economics into all sorts of wonderful careers in public policy. And so, for example, our former grad, Susan Bincalero, she was, interested in trade, and she's now Canada's ambassador to Switzerland. Also, the international civil service, whether it be the United Nations, the World Bank, the IMF, the OECD, we could go on. All of these organizations hire many, many economists. One of our recent grads, Phil Spencer, he, even just when he finished his undergraduate degree, went off and worked for the World Bank in Lebanon. And he's now working in the Gambia for the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. Many of you may be interested in economics because you're interested in choosing something that's going to lead to a high-paying career. So there is enormous demand for economists in the private sector. In banking, particularly finance, economists are crawling all over the place. It is, simply the case that if you want to go into a finance career, then you need lots of math. Lots and lots of math. More is always better. But you have many, many opportunities if you want to go down that path. The insurance industry, as was mentioned earlier, venture capital, entrepreneurs. So Tim Drager, one of our recent grads, he went from our BA program to Oxford to do his master's in financial economics. He went from there to Bain Capital, then to Berkshire Partners, and now he's a senior associate at Brighton Park Capital in Manhattan. And he, in fact, was, going to potentially participate in this panel today, in part because he is currently considering a major investment in India. But the private sector absolutely loves economists. But there are other sorts of opportunities too that associated with high-paying careers. In particular, economics leads to law. In Canada and the United States, law is not a direct entry program. To get into law, you have to have done an undergraduate degree first. And we find that the highest earning lawyers, the ones who really are having exceptional careers, typically have economics as an undergraduate degree. And then this allows them to get into corporate law. So one of our other recent grads, Malik Ladhani, he did his BA in economics and politics and then went to Harvard to do Harvard Law. He's currently an associate at Simpson, Thacher and Bartlett, and this corporate law is his area of expertise. It also leads to graduate studies in a variety of other disciplines, whether it be urban studies or public policy or international relations, doing MBAs, etc. Economics is a degree that opens so many doors. The bottom line is that economists are incredibly sought after and they're highly paid. And why? because you are the complete package. Like an engineer, and lots of people who thought they wanted to do engineering subsequently switched to economics. Like an engineer, you have strong technical skills, but you also have the conceptual and analytic and communication skills of humanities graduates. And it's those skills, it's the second part of that package that explains why it is that economists keep on increasing their lifetime earnings, as they go on, why they keep on moving up that career ladder. Because when you want to get into those higher level jobs, you need to not only be able to crunch numbers, but you need to be able to communicate and to analyze things and to understand strategy. And that's what economics gives you. And, another of our recent grads, did his BA, then went on, did an joint MA MBA program at the University of Toronto. And now he's, at McKinsey and just, doing so incredibly well. So just to give you an idea of, what you need for these programs, you of course need your high school English and you need mathematics. You need the equivalent of grade 12 mathematics, although calculus is strongly recommended. If you don't have mathematics now, and it's too late in your program to add it, you can always do that by correspondence. You don't have to just limit yourself to what is possible given the number of years remaining for your graduation. Pick up that extra mathematics with a correspondence course. You can even do it as a correspondence course from Canada. You also have to meet our language requirements for foreign students. On the IELTS, it's a 6.5. And if you go onto our website, you can explore all of that in more detail. We have many different programs, in the straight economics public policy, international, environmental, joint honors in economics and political science. That one is one of our very prestigious programs, along with the joint honors in mathematics and economics. One of the things I'd like to stress is that we offer all of our programs with what's called co-op. Co-op is where the system of education where you alternate between study terms and work terms. And these work terms, which you would call internships, are all paid. And this is absolutely open to all foreign students. And so some of the sorts of things that our students do while they're undergraduate studies is they're hired as economists, as program officers, as public policy analysts, etc. And they're hired often, by public sector employers. Some people, including foreign students, end up working at Statistics Canada, etc. And so there are many exciting opportunities for you to gain professional experience and to earn income while completing your undergraduate degree. And as of your third year of study, you can even do your placements overseas. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. But yeah, economics is a totally fabulous career. So I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really nice going through your presentation. Shilpa ma'am, anything?
No, I'm great. I think you've covered so much information just beautifully, and I think it's important for them to start thinking about areas that are kind of future-proofed and do that. But I want Keith to be able to take us through what he has to say. And over to you, Keith.
Keith, I have your presentation uploaded, so I can just start it off if you're okay.
Actually, I just actually uploaded. I keep changing it, so I'm sorry. So I'll just start mine.
Great.
So here we go. Sorry, I got this. I got 14 years in technology, so I'm a bit of a nerd. So I'm happy doing this. And thank you so much for having me as part of this this panel. I'm greatly honored. So as the introduction said, so my name is Keith McWhirter. I'm a career coach at the Smith School of Business at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, Canada, one of Canada's top premier universities and business schools specifically. So I coach students across all of our 15 different programs. Commerce is just one of them. My portfolio is entrepreneurship, innovation, technology, supply chain management, etc. So all these things that people maybe not think about when they think about commerce. And then when I'm not coaching, I'm a faculty member at the school as well too. I teach business communication. So I love what Dr. Vicky was saying about that is a key skill. That is a massively important transferable skill. That is what takes people to that next level. So I support that fully. So I do have a colleague, Deepa, who will be talking later on about the specific admission requirements and talking more about Queen's University on the whole. But I thought I'd just take a little bit of time to walk through specifically what does commerce look like, and more, you know, and to my point, what does it look like at Smith School of Business at Queen's University? So some of the slides I'll be talking with are from an early presentation. Some of them are from our commerce brochure, which you can download at smith.queensu.ca/bcom. I recommend having a look at that. I can share that with the group later on if you wish. So walking through it. Next here. Okay, so this is a high level. This is what you can expect, and this is what you're going to see at a commerce program at Queen's University. So it's a 4-year program. The first 2 years are fairly structured as far as core courses. You will be learning truly the language of business. You will learn, there will be ethics courses. There will be communications courses that I'm very passionate about. Introduction, principles of economics, working with teams, financial accounting. So that whole picture, you're learning, there's many different, you know, business is a language, and these are all, I consider the dialects of it. Getting into second year, again, more core courses, more finance, more marketing, business decision modeling, further education around economics, managerial economics specifically. And then there you get into the opportunity for some elective courses. Third and fourth year is where it's really driven by the electives. And this is where you can get into the many different streams, which we'll talk to about all the other things that commerce can offer you. Before I get into that, other things we can do with the degrees at Smith and at Queen's, we've got some wonderful partnerships. We're working with about 300, I think, partner schools around the world. So in addition to doing this the 4-year degree, you can do double degrees with our school partners in Beijing. You can do a dual degree with arts and science. So I coach many students that are doing their BCom and their Bachelor of Science in computing, for example. That usually works out to be about a 5-year degree. You can come out of Bachelor of Commerce with a law degree. So that actually extends it to a 7-year program, but it's much shorter than doing the undergrad and then going right into law. So it usually shaves about a year and a bit off that as well too. So many different opportunities and how you want to structure this. And again, going into your electives in third and fourth year, the majority of our students usually do an exchange, which is a very large part of our 3rd-year program. So usually in the second semester, second term for ours, so January to April, the second half of your school with your electives, you'll go study abroad. So we have students going to Beijing, we have students going to Copenhagen, we have students going to London School of Business, and then coming back and getting both that international experience and picking up courses from one of our neighboring and partner schools rather. And then 4th year is where that really fine-tuned picking your path that you want to go down based on the 3 years of education you've had, and you sort of start off first year in that funnel where you've got the access to everything, and then we sort of bring the funnel down where you're really finding out what your passion is and what your why is. So that's just a high level of what the commerce program looks like. So next one I'm going to go into is, again, I actually do like numbers. So when we talk about where people go in commerce, we've got a 98% placement rate for our graduating class. But the thing about this, which I love more than anything else, I mean, the numbers are fine, and the numbers, Vicky's point is great. It's you got to look at the long term. There are jobs and there is your career. Don't worry so much about the jobs. Worry about building your career. Always be going to that next level. And it's not a ladder either. You think of career progression, it's a lattice. It can go different ways. You can go sideways, depending on where you want to pivot to. You might even go back a bit, and that's okay. So this gives you some numbers that some people get confused by, some people get excited by. It just gives you some scale. Quite frankly, we're not an inexpensive school to attend. Let's just call that out right now. So a lot of our students want to sort of know what their return on investment is going to look like. So this slide speaks to that. But what's really key about this is where people have landed. And again, the traditional business school in commerce is accounting, finance, consulting, and marketing. And that's 67%. That is 67% of where people land. But as you heard from my background, entrepreneurship, innovation, technology, operations, supply chain, there is so much more. There's another 33% that is not the big four sections of commerce that people land into, and really, really exciting possibilities. When we get into things like analytics, when we get into things like operations, that's a big piece, and some very, and some areas where I'll get into in a minute, where you actually don't know what you want to get into. So there are leadership development rotational programs that we work with as well. So this just gives you an idea of what commerce does. It's not those four basic pieces. There is so much more to it, and it's changing. We're adding new programs and new courses. Actually, we've added a new digital skills course that actually I'm teaching in next week. That is, again, it's reactive to what the industry is asking for. We're very closely tied to industry. We are grooming students for what industry is looking for. We do not do co-ops. We focus on internships. We focus on, again, in my role as career coach, is giving you all the skills that you need to land that job. And we have partner universities that come on campus and do recruiting, but there's nothing guaranteed you got to get that job. The skills we're teaching, you will use this year to get the internship, but you're going to be using these 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. The tools that you're going to learn as a commerce student, you will use and leverage as the VP of the company someday. And we've got, again, fantastic industry partners who, the other half of my team, work with the industry partners to bring them on campus to do the recruiting. And my side of the team is getting the students ready for those conversations and for those applications. Lifelong skills is what we focus on. So knowing sort of the numbers now, again, and knowing that we've got, these are the main categories. Now I want to talk a bit about what each of these mean, because accounting, people sort of think of that, head down the numbers. And to Vicky's point, I get that, yeah. So technology is going to change that a little bit. AI, I think, might change some on economics. That's a great conversation. But again, looking at what your next job is. Also to my colleagues' comments, your next job is not your last job. So do remember that. So what does finance look like? These are the types of roles that our students are going into. And it is a myriad of opportunities. I mean, yes, there is investment banking, there's fund analysts, there's project management, the product development. You can look at some of these roles and the companies that we are getting our students into right now. So it's not just, the point of this is that you're really, commerce is language. How you want to apply that language is up to you. But we certainly don't pigeonhole into the big, necessarily under the big four and very funnel. Finance, again, so this is some of the pieces on and the roles that we have success in. Consulting, yes, strategy consultant, that's the one people don't really think about. Human capital consulting is massive. Companies have a pandemic. There is no face-to-face for a long time. What do you do with your 3,000 staff? How do you restructure that? Human capital consultancy is kind of a big thing right now. Digital transformation, AI consulting, incredibly important. Deloitte's a big hirer of our students, employer of our students for that role. So consulting isn't just that, the traditional suit in the office with the PowerPoint doing the pitching. It's really about creative problem solving and analytics, and yes, economics, and knowing that is a huge plus. And also you're getting into these boutique and niche firms. Internal consulting team. So this is another, instead of doing consulting for the MBBs, the McKinseys, the Bains, the BCGs, the Deloittes, the PwCs, companies are developing their own. RBC, our largest bank in Canada, has their own internal strategy consultants. For automotive supply chain, Porsche Cars has their own consulting firm. Lufthansa also has their own internal consulting. So many different opportunities with this. It's not your traditional big, the MBBs or the big four always. The boutique firms are really making a run for it, and also doing some very, very interesting and creative work, especially in the design space and the technology space. Marketing, yes, huge. I mean, marketing is knowing that customer, knowing the environment. Sales, I appreciate what Tim said about sales. I'm a sales guy. That's why the first half of my career, I spent like 14 years in sales, and I put 14 years in higher ed. Most CEOs of tech firms right now started either in sales or operations. That's how you learn the business. You can't really do strategy until you understand how it all works and you understand your customers. Marketing, but then can again cover so many things. It's not just the person out there selling. It's a lot of analytics. There is consulting tied to marketing as well too. The companies that are hiring marketing individuals, you've got banks, you've got cosmetics, you've got e-commerce, universities themselves. IBM is a big employer of marketing as well. Microsoft as well. There's so much there. It's not just your traditional selling pitch. Accounting, again, traditional big four firms. So you got your PwCs, you got your Ernst & Young, you've got Deloitte, KPMG. But there's also the CPA training programs that fall under, many different other companies across industries. So you've got your finance, you've got your banking, you've got CPG, you've got retail space, you've got grocery, automotive. It's not just the big firms working for these companies. There's actually roles within those firms. It's really about, I didn't mention at the start, it's that understanding of the industry versus the function. And so again, I'll use technology as an example. So you can work in the tech industry, but you can work in the tech industry in HR and finance and marketing. Or you can work in technology as maybe a tech consultant, but that tech is going to be, every CPG, every automotive company, every bank needs tech. So it's really determining where your passion is for the industry and what function you want to identify with. And this goes back to the other piece I was talking about. Sometimes you graduate commerce, you don't know yet. And that's okay. There are many, many firms. These are probably the most sought after commerce programs. These are rotational programs. These are companies that we're going to hire you out and your education sort of continues. They hire you at a university and you will do a 2-year contract. You're doing 6 months in marketing, 6 months in learning more of the accounting, going through business development, through their operations lines, and you're learning all sections of these massive companies. And then based on that, then you slot into where you're the most successful and where you're the happiest. So this is a really great way to get in where you're not quite sure yet, and then you do your further education while you're working. Again, these are probably the most sought after roles because they just give you the most amount of flexibility. And these are true, as you see in the title, leadership development. You've gone through one of these programs. Maybe you don't even stay at these firms many years down the road, but maybe 5 years down the road, the skill sets you've gained from this added training, added education at the top level of industry is invaluable. Sales. Some people, why would I go to commerce when I'm going to go into sales? Sales is sort of maybe beneath me. It's not. It is amazing. The skill sets required to do sales, the understanding you've got with communications, you have to understand a bit of marketing. The salesperson sort of connects a lot of other folks together. So you are truly a translator of the business. And they can be very, very lucrative jobs as well too. So again, currently we've got students going into Salesforce, Shopify, IBM, Kraft Heinz, again, these CPG and food companies. Very, very interesting operations. They seem very large, but they do allow you to scratch that entrepreneurial itch, sort of a role of an entrepreneur, if you can imagine that, where you're going to the companies, you're coming up with new products, you're coming up with new ideas. Very entrepreneurial mindset, but done in a structured organization. So sales, again, this is rounding out that 33% of where people land. Lots of opportunities though. And then, you know, everything else. Again, commerce isn't just the big four. There's insurance, there's retail sales, there's technology, which is growing exponentially. Everything has tech at the end. There's ed tech, clean tech, law tech, fintech, anything, any prefix you add, you can put tech on the end of it, actually. Lots of different areas, and this is changing all the time. So this is why we like to, you know, start out very wide and then funnel it down, because the actual piece you're going to go into, you may not know yet, and that's okay. Again, other areas that we put our students into, the entrepreneurial side, these are the companies that we're working with. Emerging industries, we work very, very tightly with a lot of startups and scale-up programs as well, offering internships with our students. A lot of government placements as well too. So we've got people going into public policy. We've got folks, actually a recent grad went in and is running some of the digital services and digital transformation for the government of Canada, and working even at the smaller municipal level as well too. So they're really, again, commerce is teaching you that language that translates into basically every single industry. It's where you want to take it. It's a little bit up to you. You're in the driver's seat. And again, I talked a bit about this further education options. You can do dual degrees. A lot of them are working in computer science, economics, and mathematics. You can do law degrees as well. Again, you're adding a year or two here and there, but in the overall, if you did them all separately, that would be a bit more of a bit longer process. And probably sometimes there's the opportunity cost of being at school versus being at working. But other areas, it's not all about the commerce. Our strength is that, you know, our biggest strength is our relationships, both with our faculties on campus. We're right across from the law school, actually, and policy studies, working with engineering, working with partner schools, working with partner industries. So it's all about relationships. That is my shtick as to what commerce can offer you and what we do at the Smith School of Business at Queen's University. And I would leave any other information as far as the application process and the, maybe there's a nice video Deepa has around what Queens and Kingston, Ontario looks like. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful here on the water. But that's my time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was a super comprehensive cover of what commerce and economics can offer us. And I think the students benefited immensely from that. I think in terms of getting, and I think what the most amazing thing was to be able to say, don't prepare for your first job and kind of look for what you can do in the long run. And I think that does tend to happen. We tend to be a little myopic about what we can do. So I think, yes.
I just want to pick up on something that Keith said that I thought was very important, which was, you know, he was talking about dual degrees. And I really, and the notion that spending one more extra year getting that extra bit of qualification can pay off enormously in the long term. And I really want to echo that comment. There are a gazillion students who graduate in every country, and especially internationally, with an undergraduate degree in economics or an undergraduate degree in commerce. And if students want to really stand out, if they want to really have those, you know, special skills that make them really valuable in the job market, particularly over the longer term, you know, thinking about doing those sorts of additional, that additional qualification or that dual program can really give them an edge. So that was a really important point that he made.
Yeah, wonderful. Actually, yeah, makes sense that you're actually equipping yourself with just a much stronger arsenal of what skill sets you have now available to give to a potential employer, and that's great. And it also shows great deal of flexibility. I think I understand Deepa has to join in to be able to give us some information regarding admissions. Yes.
Yes. So I think Keith will have to log out so that Deepa can log in from his link. It was really nice having you on board, Keith. Is there just to get that up? Thanks a lot, Victoria ma'am. Also, you brought up really good points in Keith's speech. Keith, any particular questions that you would probably like to answer before we take your leave?
Is there a question you saw scrolling by that you thought was interesting that you wanted to pick up, or?
I wasn't looking at that. I can't talk and read at the same time, so it's not a skill. Maybe that's just a commerce thing that we can't do that. Economists are much smarter than we are. Honestly, again, quite frankly, I'm a pretty social person. So my information's been shared. I'm all over social media. Connect with me on LinkedIn if you've got some questions. I'm happy to answer when I can. Um, yeah, I'm sure there's no shortage of questions. We've got a very engaged group of people out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, reach out if you like. I'm happy to connect and answer what questions I can. But Deepa will probably be able to help, maybe even a bit more. So I think I'm good.
Super. Great.
Thanks a lot,
Thank you
Keith.
for your
Nice having
time
you.
and for being here with us. Appreciate it. Take care. Thank you.
Okay, so I just hit the red button now.
Hang on. Yeah, I'll press that for
No,
you.
I
All
don't want the whole thing. I don't want to know the whole thing. You can.
All right. See you.
Oh,
Bye.
Okay. Bye bye. Thank you. Yeah. Deepa, are you there? Yes, there you are.
Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'll just quickly run through the, a little more details about Queens, in addition to what Keith has, kind of covered, specifically about commerce at Smith School of Business. Atin, would you be able to share this, share my slides, or I can? Oh, I have that. Thank you. I will not, since we have a lot of audience today who are specifically interested into careers into economics and commerce, I will just focus on our admission requirements for those programs. But before I jump into that, a little details about the university as a whole. We are one of the oldest public universities of Canada, and formed in the year 1841. We are a mid-sized university, not as large as U Ottawa, but we also have about 25,000 students. Located, studying at different levels at the universities. We have about 16,500 of those studying at the undergrad level. We also have this huge representation coming in terms of our international community. The diversity is key to Queens, and we have about another 15% of our students, undergrad students, coming from about 104 different countries. So again, a very diverse community is there at Queens, in different programs. A little bit about our locations. We are literally halfway to everywhere. Again, based in the same province, like you Ottawa. We are also in the province of Ontario, located in the city of Kingston. So the red dot you see on the slide right now is where we are located. We are literally halfway to Toronto on one side and Ottawa on the other side, kind of in the middle of both the popular cities in the province. Montreal is about another 3 hours drivable distance, and if you can see this, we are kind of on the borders, touching upstate New York of the United States. So very central, very primely located within the province and in Canada. I will quickly jump into, besides commerce, we have all these program areas to choose from, but I would specifically like to highlight that we also offer a BA Honors in Economics within Faculty of Arts and Sciences. The economics is also offered as a combination with political studies and philosophy, like Atin has previously mentioned, PPE as a combination, as a triple combination available at Queen's as well. We also have economics offered as one of the majors, and you can pick up another subject and devote equal attention. So you can do medials at Queen's within arts and sciences, covering economics and one more prominent area. Uh, and going further, I would like to highlight our requirements, which I can see a lot of questions about on the chat box. Um, we are a competitive university to get through. We are looking for high grades throughout your high school. When I say high school, we are typically looking not ninth, actually 10th onwards. So we are looking at 10th, and we are looking at your projected scores in class 12th. For all the CBSE and IST students present today, if you're in class 10th or 11th, please gear up, because that's what we are focusing on when you're we are offering a admission to you. We are also kind of looking at these things for scholarships as well. So we are focused on your academic performance much more than anything else. 80 to 90% is a range for admission, but if you're seeking scholarships, and I'll come to the scholarship bit immediately after this. But if you're seeking scholarships, we are looking for predictives of 95% and above. For commerce specifically, math is a prerequisite at Queen's at Smith School of Business. So we will not accept your applications if you have not studied maths after class 10th. Having maths in 11th and 12th is absolutely essential, and this is a mandatory requirement. Besides this, English is the only other prerequisite, which I'm sure everyone has as one of the languages. So maths and English are the only two subjects, and others could be any combination. So technically, a humanities plus math students is eligible to apply for Bachelors of Commerce. A science student is eligible to apply, and of course, a commerce student with maths is eligible to apply. Anyone who's skipped maths after 10th is only restricted to arts program at Queen's. So if you're aiming to apply for a BA in economics, we can offer you a place without maths, but as mentioned by other panelists before, it's an integral part of the subject area. So be ready to study maths in the first year and the following years. Moving on to the IB, if there are any IB students here, any A-level students here, the requirements are mentioned on the screen. We're looking at high predictives of about 32 to 38 points in your IB diploma, with minimum of 3 high-level subjects, 3 high-level subjects. And in A-levels, if you're doing a GCE curriculum, we are looking for 2 A's and a B in your A-levels, advanced level. So that's typically the requirements of Queen's for commerce for BA economics are. And you really need to meet the prerequisites to get into these programs, for which for economics there is no prerequisites besides English, but for commerce there is maths and English. IELTS is highly recommended for visa process. We are happy to waive off your English language requirement if you have studied from a recognized CBSE school or an international school. But again, it's recommended because when you're applying for a study permit to Canada without IELTS, there are chances that your application would be refused or rejected. Very quickly, I'll cover the awards and scholarships bit of Queen's. We offer something very unique and special to Indian students. We have Principal Excellence Scholarship India. This is only for the citizens of India and we award this in huge numbers. We select almost 35 students every year for a value of 20,000 Canadian dollars given to the student, spread over 2 years of their undergrad degree. So it's given at the rate of $10,000 per annum. As I said before, we are looking for grades, marks, scores. That's what we are focused on majorly. And 95% plus or 38 IB diploma points predictives in class 12 would be a good candidate to select for a Principal Excellence Scholarship India. We also have international scholarship of value $36,000, but as it says, it's international. It's not just for India. We consider any and every student who's coming out of Canada for this scholarship. So it's more hard to get into. And then we have these first year scholarships of $1,500 and $4,000 automatically awarded to the students once you are selected for an offer. So this is just a gist about our scholarships. Besides the commerce, we are also looking for personal statement of experience and supplementary essays, without which your application will be automatically dropped. So please submit all the supplementary information, which is essays, which is your 10th and projected 12th mark sheets, for a consideration into the program. That's it from my side. These are my contact details on the screen. Somebody was asking if there is a person in India for Queen's for Smith. That's me. Happy to connect with you if you have any questions. My email ID and my contact number is there on the screen. Please feel free to get in touch for any questions regarding Smith or Queen's per se. Thank you. Atin, I'll just stop. You can stop sharing the screen. That's from my side.
Super. Thank you so much, Deepa. That was a lot of really great admission-related information. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and students, please note that Deepa herself is an international student recruitment specialist, right? And she's had 13 years of demonstrative experience in the field of higher education. She's done her bachelor's in maths as well. So please feel free to connect with her. She's also worked with a lot of prestigious universities across US and UK in the past. So any questions that you want to throw to her regarding admissions or something that you might have had in your mind and probably didn't get covered in a presentation, please feel free. Also, Dr. Victoria has been with us throughout the presentation. So anything that you think, and also I'm seeing that ma'am is she's very active on the chat box. She's been answering all your queries. So anyone who has anything in particular to ask, please feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, and I think also it's important for all of you to remember that you can reach out to Deepa for Queens, and of course, if you need to be able to connect with the university with Dr. Barnum, would be happy to be able to get you in touch with University of Ottawa, and you should go ahead and check them out for your admission requirements as well, in case you're exploring Canada and have that information there. For anything else that you feel that you might need, and Deepa's just put her email ID up in the chat box. For anything else you may feel that you might want more information on and that might have gotten missed out, email us at hello@mindler.com, and we'll be happy to answer those questions for you. Other career related data or other things that you might need to have, you might need to look at, that you might have missed out on, or that we might have missed out looking at your question and not have answered it. So please go ahead and send that to us at hello@mindler.com. That's got pinned at the top there. And in case you want to be able to look at an assessment, or you want to be able to look at what streams make sense for you, or what are the possible courses you can look at, then Michael will be able to help you do that as well. And in case you're somebody who feels you'd like an individual counseling session, then of course we're there to help you with that as well. So yeah, I think we want to be able to go through a close on that. Tanya, you would need to be able to give the chartered accountancy exams, and you can register for that after class 12. So yeah, that is something you do, and I suggest to send us a quick email. We'll send you information. You'll need to register at icai.org to be able to follow chartered accountancy here, and we can do that. Okay. So for I think we had covered mathematics elements, and calculus was recommended, but your high school maths of 11th and 12th is a good idea to be able to have. If you have calculus, which is part of standard maths in India, you would be able to cover. So it's recommended there. Right? Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say with respect to mathematics, and to just again amplify something that one of Keith's comments about tech, and that so many careers in tech today are not for engineers. Many different careers are tech focused, but it will always be true that more math is always better. It's not necessarily because you use math a lot in your work. It's just that everybody knows math's hard. And people who can do mathematics are hard workers, and they're going to be able to think analytically. So it is always a good idea to do more math, even if you never, even if you're going to go into film. In fact, I examined the academic success of students in some of our other undergraduate programs that have no math requirements at all, and where students don't have to do any math courses in there. And if the student had done high school mathematics, they were much more likely to be passing all of their courses and to be an A student than students who did not do mathematics in high school. So you need to be successful in university to have a successful career. You need to be somebody who can keep going even when the going is tough, who is ambitious for yourself. And one of the ways you can develop that strength and resilience and ambition is to do more math in high school.
Super.
That's actually true. There's one other thing that's been ticking on in my mind, ma'am. I was just wondering, yes, everything you've covered, both of you have very nicely covered all the admission requirements and all. But has anything changed after this entire COVID scenario, after the whole lockdown thing, and the immigration is locking up and countries locking down? So, is there any other thing in particular that the students need to keep in mind when they're looking to apply for universities abroad?
Well, I mean, I think that the COVID has allowed Canada to sort of distinguish itself as a country where it's been very clear that we love foreign students and that we want you to be very happy and successful in your studies. Canadian universities broadly, definitely Queen's, definitely University of Ottawa, but the other ones as well, have been spending the summer making sure that those students who are coming to us in the fall will be able to start their studies online, even if they can't get travel visas to come. So we're very, and we spend all of our time like testing. Will this piece of software work in India? Will it work in China? We're very strongly committed to making sure that our foreign students have first-rate learning conditions. We've talked with our faculty about, getting access to textbooks, et cetera, et cetera. We feel that you're a very valuable part of campus. Going forward, we've been around the world engaged in this great experiment on online learning. I have family in Brazil. They had, who teach in the university system there, they had 24 hours to get online. And I think that we've all learned that there's a place for more online learning than perhaps we were traditionally comfortable with. And I think that we're going to see some really exciting collaborative international learning that will take place online over the longer term. We cannot wait to get back into the classroom. We are really, 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 really hoping that in January, life will have returned to normal. But we will be, for everything that is positive, there is positive stuff happening. Everything that is positive, we're going to keep on doing that over the longer term. And in particular, really looking for opportunities to ensure that classrooms remain more international, and that students who have health issues or whatever are able to truly be integrated into the academic experience.
Mute. You're muted.
Sorry. I was just asking Deepa if the same is valid for Queens as well.
Absolutely, Atin. Like other institutions in Canada, Queen's has also transitioned online. In fact, from March onwards, we have completed the semester, the summer semester, and then we are also obviously going to continue the same in the fall term. Regarding what Dr. Victoria said, I think I'll just add one more thing. As far as we have understood that, the pandemic has brought all of us, move to online modes, teaching online, learning online, and everything stays online. We have also realized how important face-to-face and in-person learning and teaching is.
Learning it.
So the future we see is gonna be both coming along side by side. So I see a lot of future of university teaching or university operations or school operations. Would be blended. I see a lot of this not losing its touch. Even if we come out of this pandemic, it's still gonna be one of the major modes in which we are going to deliver teaching and students are going to learn. So teaching, learning happening in a blended manner is the future. Students, whosoever is still attending, and we have lots of students still attending. So please bear in mind, accept it as a future, accept it as a new normal, and try to adapt as much as possible.
All right, that's great. I think I had a couple of questions, but everything has been covered with your presentations. So if Shilpa ma'am, if there's nothing else from your end, I think we can call it a day. It's already.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, both of you, for sharing your insights with us. Thank you, Deepa, for giving us the admission requirements that are there for Queens. And Vicky, thank you for your insight and your knowledge and wisdom on how economics is going to be the future-proof career to be able to look at. Great stuff. Please thank Keith on our behalf, Deepa, when you do connect with him. We did get a chance to say thank you to him very quickly, though. Students, please feel free to write to us at hello@mindlove for any questions that may have gotten missed out, and we'll be able to connect with you there. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and for the rest of us, have a good evening. All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deepa.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.